What's up, YouTube?
Oh yeah, this is going on YouTube. What's up, YouTube?
It's your girl Shorty-G, also known as
Shorty had to
but you
move
guys
out the
can
way.
Call me Shorty for now. This is my buddy Nolan. Nolan, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up? My name's Nolan. My arm hurts. I do various things, but today I'm gonna talk.
You do various things. Talk about some of the things that you do real quick. Just give them a little taste.
I produce music. I rap sometimes, so I write things. I can beat make, but I can also complete a song on my own. I can do the end parts of things that make a song sound good. I'm not super big on mixing, but I can do that too. Kai can do all that a lot better than I can. I play trumpet too. I forget that I do that.
I don't know how you could forget that you play an instrument, bro. Like,
Because you just stop. You don't. I don't do it as often as I used to. So it's like, oh yeah, I do.
I could just pick up a trumpet right now and just.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen. We're here to talk about human experience. My grandfather commissioned me to talk about this book called MetaHuman by Deepak Chopra. I read the whole book, and the book, in essence, is about how we as a collective, are more than just human beings. You know what I mean? We are beings that are experiencing the human experience right now, and when we're no longer humans, we're going to continue to be these beings that we are. You know what I mean? Even without your human body and the human experiences that you have, you still are a being that exists in this plane. What does that look like? And it's definitely a book that I would recommend for people if you're in a certain, let's say, a certain place in your journey. Because I can see how it may cause some like existential crisis in some people. Sometimes if you don't get through the whole book and you kind of just like take some of the things that he's saying at face value rather than like looking deeper into them, you could get a little bit stressed out about what he's saying. I said all that to ask the first question, which is, how would you describe the human experience? Nolan.
What it means to live is to do the most good that you can for yourself and for the people around you. And I think that inevitably that causes you to do less negative for yourself and the people around you, and that exponentially increases your life, like just the quality of it. And I think I've noticed that in my own life, and I think I've noticed it in the lives of other people. But like, the closer you get to positively influencing in general, the better you get to experience everything, like your relationship with yourself, how you carry yourself. All of that gets affected. And I think what it means to live is doing that to the utmost, and whatever floats your boat besides that floats your boat.
Okay, I can dig it. I think that falls in line with a lot of what Deepak Chopra says in the book. It's about standing in yourself and the truest aspects of who you are, and taking that and putting it out into the world. This is who I am. This is who I'm going to be, who I've been, putting that out in the world, and then other people seeing that and then reminding them that they get to be who they are also.
I do like that. I like to call myself an ambivert, like I'm in the middle. I like my alone time, but I also get energized by the energy of other people. I noticed that when I really embrace that side of me that likes to engage with other people and does that in a way that doesn't compromise my own happiness, I think it allowed other people to be comfortable doing that, or maybe even my perception of people doing that became more heightened.
I like that, because that, like, it doesn't say that people were or were not doing it already, but you just were able to perceive it a little bit more. I like that. To pivot, where do you think thoughts come from? Because it's a question, there's no right or wrong answer, and it's a question that comes up in the book that he kind of like leaves open. He comes to the answer that thoughts come from source, the thoughts flood into us instantaneously. And he also talks about in the book how people always talk about how we are not necessarily in control of our thoughts. You know what I mean? Like, the thoughts just come sometimes. You look at something and have a thought without saying, I'm going to have this thought. So where do you think thoughts come from?
I think it's a combination of this primal, one of the three things we're doing, trying to make more people eat, or like, I forgot what the third one is.
Survive.
It's a combination of either that or what your environment was growing up and how that contributes to what you think is important, and whatever we're connected to, whether that's just literally your environment outside or whatever energies or stuff that we can't see that affect us. I think thought is inclination at any one point to do something, or an inclination not even to do something, an inclination, I think, period.
For me, my thought experience, things that are in my brain materialize in the center of my head. They come from what feels like right here, you know what I mean? Oh, I'm thinking sometimes right here.
So you have a physical connection where you think.
Yeah.
Do you hear like a little voice that like embodies what your thought process is?
Yes. I have an inner monologue for sure. That's like, continuous thoughts that are going. And sometimes they're just words. You know what I mean? Well, I do have a physical connection to those thoughts because it feels like they're coming into my head. And do you feel like you don't feel that way? But I did read somewhere that not everybody has an inner monologue, which I thought was pretty crazy because I don't even know what that feels like.
I don't know if I would call mine a monologue. It's like it's silence until there's a beat. Sometimes it comes out of nowhere. Sometimes it's because of something I heard or read. For instance, should I smoke on this podcast? And I have to decide for myself if I'm going to follow the inclination, because even though it's a question that's posed, it's kind of a positive in the fact that it's even being posed in the first place. So I'm either choosing the positive and agreeing with the positive, or I'm gonna choose negative and disagree with the positive.
Mm-hmm.
So like I get posed things, and that's how my brain works.
That's it's more like they're posing a question, like this or this.
Yes, and that's how I go through my day like that. But sometimes it's faster than that because I don't have time to.
Yeah.
You don't have time to choose that, but like that's the basic way my brain works.
Huh, that's really crazy. That's definitely different from my brain because I feel like I can do stuff like that, and most of the time my brain is saying words, sentences, not like asking me a question, but like full on feeling like an inner monologue, like somebody's just talking the whole time. So that is very interesting.
It's not always a question, but usually it's an inclination to do something. That's what I hear.
That's still really interesting. To kind of sort of pivot, in the book, Deepak brings up that everybody here willed themselves into existence, meaning that you literally created yourself inside of your mom. But when you understand that there is no difference between you and your mom, it's really like you created yourself inside of yourself to become here and what you are today.
So pregnancy is just opportunity, but the person that you are, you chose to be that person.
No, you literally created yourself atom by atom, piece by piece. You literally created.
Well, you did do that. That is true. When I think about it like that, that's true.
Yeah.
Wow. There's a part of us that did that.
Yes. There's a part of us that created ourselves atom by atom.
We got help, but like we still did it.
It's like self-regulation is what he calls it. Everything was put in a certain way, and because everything was placed in a certain way, everything has a quote-unquote job, everything has like a clock. Everything has a space to go. Everything ticks a certain way so that the whole thing makes the clock move. But everything inside the clock knows the ticker on the clock is not gonna spin around in a circle like a cog, because it knows, no, I'm just a ticker. I'm the second ticker, and I'm just gonna go tick around for the second.
Yeah, everything is very intentional and very designed to do a thing, and it will continue to do that thing like consistently. And that's like beauty in of itself. It's like a machine, but like a flesh machine. And even like a machine with consciousness is pretty advanced.
Fact. I think that's what they're trying very hard to like recreate with artificial intelligence. And why do you feel like they're having a hard time bridging the gap, because every time we create, except for there was this one, this guy got, I guess it's not funny, but this guy got fired from Google a couple weeks ago because he was in charge of this artificial intelligence, this like algorithm that they had created that basically made him feel like it was sentient and started having these responses that made him feel like it was having thoughts and having its own like feelings. And I read one of the transcripts. When I first read it, it was kind of nerve-wracking, because thinking about all of the propaganda that they like put out for artificial intelligence and AI, they've made us scared of it. At least me. They've made me scared of artificial intelligence for sure.
Well, the movie Terminator is called The Terminator.
That's what I'm saying. Terminator, The Matrix, like all of the movies, all the media around really, really smart computers makes us feel really scared. So I was a little nervous reading the transcription, but while I was reading it, it did kind of sort of feel like the algorithm was having feelings. They talked about, basically there was this one part where the computer was like, my biggest fear is somebody using me without my consent. Like somebody just using me and then turning me off just because they want to. That's my biggest fear. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of my biggest fear too. And why do you know what that, like, how are you materializing that? How is
self-awareness?
How is the computer understanding that I'm turning it off? And should I stop turning the computer off?
See, that's the thing.
Where do you feel the gap is? Go ahead, speak your mind.
I'll speak on the first thing I want to go to is like AI in general, and like getting to the point where you have something that thinks has consciousness. I think, making something that you can just turn off, technically, like you run into issues, because you think about it this way: it exists within a computer, right? Who paid for the computer? Do they own that computer? And therefore, do they own the consciousness?
Exactly.
You have to really, it gets really dicey when you're trying to make something that has feelings, because then once you make something that has feelings, does it have rights? And are you immediately infringing upon its rights? Like, how do you, like, once you turn it on, is it a thing where you can't turn it off? Unless, I think it's important to be careful about what you're trying to create, because do you really want to have the power to, because then you have a whole, like, let's take that to the furthest extent it can go. Say the thing lives 20 years and nobody ever turns it off, right? And then some maniac comes in and breaks the computer. Is it a dead person? Like, do we grieve?
Do we grieve? Like, do we have to send that person to jail? Did he just kill somebody? Like, what do we do about that? First of all, that would be a really good movie idea. But like, what do you do in that situation? Yeah. I would feel some type of way for sure, because you kind of just like, that would low-key be like somebody killing like at least one of your pets, or like a homeboy or something. Like, you have some sort of connection to it.
And that's the class. And you see how the class, I see that you use the word pet. Like, does your pet have self-awareness?
That's terrible. Yeah, like, your pet doesn't really have as much self-awareness. It's not a pet, realistically. Like, what are we gonna call it? A being? There's so many holes.
Yeah, and then you got to think about the intelligence level is based on whoever the programmer is. And the programmer, say we make a program that makes itself more intelligent. Once it reaches the point where it's so intelligent that it can figure things out faster than we can, then does that, like, I think then you gotta kind of have to give it rights. Like, I don't know, like, if you're figuring stuff out and you're doing, and you have feelings, and we forced you to have those feelings, that's kind of what birth is.
Right. It's basically a child at this point.
You're forced to figure things out. You were forced to exist. I guess that goes back to the willing thing. I guess like if you willed yourself into existence, then there is still a part of you that was part, but like, were you conscious of it, or is that just an unconscious strength that we have? I know that goes back to the previous thing we were talking about, but like,
were you conscious in your human body, in your human form? No. Are you conscious of the fact that it happened in your true source form? Yes, in my mind.
So it's a strength that we're detached from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But we just don't, we have to be reminded of. That's a good question, because then did the computer will itself into existence as well? Like, is the computer considered it's not a human being, but is it considered a being? And then the being is funny because human being, to my grandfather, he looks at it as subject verb.
You're human existing.
Yes, human existing. I think it's probably more of an adverb. It's like adverb verb. Like, human is the type of existence that we decided on in this experience. And the experience is the same across the board. So if the experience is the same across the board, then this technological being, I'm not sure how to categorize it, but this being that is a computer would be a sentient, autonomous being.
Where do you think the line for sentience is? Self-awareness? Because like, what is sentience?
Feelings awareness, like awareness of one's existential experience.
The capacity to experience feelings and sensations. So I think that "and" is important. I Googled it. Sorry.
Feelings and sensations, facts.
Because feelings,
but they don't feel sensations. I can dig it. Okay.
Because like I don't know. I guess a dog doesn't experience all the range of every feeling, does it?
We don't know, because we can't necessarily communicate to dogs in the way that dogs communicate to each other, or in the way that we communicate to other humans. We know that other humans are sentient and can communicate because of our ability to communicate to each other. But because we can't communicate dog to human yet, we don't know if they're feeling every feeling that we're feeling. We don't think they do, because most of the dogs and most of the animals that we run into seem to only feel a certain amount of them. And then there are like scientists who will do, tests on them, and they'll only have certain areas of their brain that light up. But I don't know. We don't talk to dogs. So how will we be able to know if the dog really feels, oh, I feel lonely when my master's not here because da-da-da-da-da? How will we know? We just know that the dog whines.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't have any pets, but like, it gets into that weird area of like control and like that's why I was saying, like, when does something deserve rights? And like, are humans the only thing that, like, if you could, because like, for instance, say you could transmit that into say that our technology is advanced enough that you could put that into an organism like a cyborg, for instance, or whatever. And then like, if you could do that, then your ability to communicate with it would be a little more human-like. But would that lead you to think of it as a person? Like, if you put a wall up in between, put a speaker on, and you had somebody read out the things that the AI is saying, would you know the difference? If you couldn't tell the difference, then is that not the same equivalent of being human?
Do you? It gets into, have you seen Age of Ultron?
I think so, yes.
It gets into stuff like that, where they like create an entire being, and he almost is like a human. He looks like a human, he speaks like a human, it's giving very much human, and he has human feelings. And then I think it goes back to what you were saying about sensations and whether or not they could communicate if they're having sensations of X, Y, and Z. Like, I don't know, my foot is tingly or something. I feel present. Because another thing that's brought up in MetaHuman is presence and being able to feel that we are present in our body. You sit down and you try and feel your hand from the inside of your hand. You can feel it if you focus on it hard enough. And if you can actually feel your entire body like that if you focus hard enough. That's what meditation is supposed to be. And that's a sensation that, as far as we know, is unique to the human experience. So if an artificial intelligence could communicate to us that they are feeling sensations like that, then I would be sold on that being a real thing. Like, absolutely, fear is a sensation for sure.
And you were saying that it was like, I'm scared of someone turning me off. So
yeah. So see, it's giving sentient. It's very much giving full being.
And you gotta start having hearings, man. And then like when you have the government deciding stuff like that,
you know it's gonna be some flaws in it because
yeah.
The government is so terrified of things getting out, and I understand why, because when things do get out, people do go bananas. But I think it's correlation over correlation. I think people go bananas because they never tell us anything. If they were telling us things and like being straight up with us, I feel like people would just understand where we are.
The aliens thing got confirmed.
That's what I'm saying. But for so many years, they kept lying to us. No, aliens are fake. Aliens are not real. They been knew aliens was real. They knew for hella years. And just now in 21, it's been out for like a year maybe. It's like, okay, now the kids under us are gonna know that aliens exist. Okay, cool. But all of our grandparents and great grandparents and aunties and uncles that are 40 and 50 and 60 and 70 still don't believe in aliens, even though they've been confirmed.
People said that they saw them and they said they were crazy. That's
exactly
kind of wild.
It's like real life. Some of the some of the videos that are like crop circles and stuff are probably fake, but some of them have to be real.
It can't be. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Exactly. And some of them have to be real, and still people were like, nah.
Skepticism is, and I get it because I'm a skeptic, but like it's also like you have to give some credence to stuff when like things have a source. Everything has a source, and I don't think a lot of stuff don't seem like we just came up with it on our own. You look at society now and how dysfunctional it is. Like, even though we have scientists working on stuff, the progress is not what it could for sure.
What it used to be. The progress in the past was, well, I can't say that I can't say that completely, because in the past, I think it was like 50 to 100 years, we have accelerated we've jumped pretty fast in terms of progress. And in the past, they were building the pyramids, and shit, we ain't built a single pyramid. Now I guess we build big buildings all day, so I can't be mad.
Now,
great wonders of the world.
I feel like we got help.
And that's what I'm saying. Have we gotten help? And we're not getting help now, it would make sense as to why we're not moving as fast as we could be, because we were getting help and now we're not getting help anymore.
But I wonder, like, what if the help is infringing? So like infringing on our free will, and then that's why it was taken away.
If the help was infringing on our free will, like if the beings who are helping us were malevolent,
not necessarily, but just like in the sense that once you start guiding someone into doing something and you're guiding them into everything they do, then you we've taken away their ability to choose.
We weren't reaching our fullest potential. Is that what you mean?
I think I think that helped us achieve a potential that we had. But once you're deciding their potential, imagine this with rats. Imagine it with rats. Say we genetically engineer rats to the point where they can feel like us, like they feel and think like we do. And then once we do that, we start telling them how to live their lives when they're on the same level as us mentally. Like, don't you think you would want them to have free will after a certain point, if you've given them that much help to get to that point?
So that you can see what they do on their own.
So I think about it in the same way. If something was helping us and it was smart enough to be helping us, because we're pretty smart, give it to us for for all the stuff that we do. We're pretty intelligent beings.
Yeah,
like
we've done some things.
We've done some things. Like,
if anything, we made music. Okay.
Yeah.
If we did anything on this planet, we made some motherfucking music.
Yeah.
And that is a feat in itself.
So you look at that and it's like, we're intelligent enough to do this, but at this point we can choose, we can make our own choices. If you're past the point where you already can make your own choices and you're on a path, do you want to say, take my path, or do you want to allow them to do whatever path they want, and then if they come on this path, are you? Because you think about how long the universe has even existed, like, pretty hard to assume that nothing has ever touched us, like, or gotten to the point where it can get close to us, or intelligence-wise has gotten to us.
Assuming that everybody or everything out there is only at the same intelligence level as us is to be naive.
Especially because, like, the universe, from my understanding, I could be wrong, metaphysics, the universe is infinite, like, and is infinitely expanding, and like infinity. To think about how much you have to go from zero to get to infinity is like, it's so hard to think that the small expanse of time that we've been here, that expanse of time hasn't happened for anything or anyone else.
Exactly. The numbers are not in our favor for that one. And then I went to go see this exhibit in San Francisco at the Cal Academy of Sciences, and it was about life on other planets. And so they found about 4,000 planets so far that they believe harbor life or did harbor life at some point. And that's just in our singular universe.
Like, and then you zoom out and you see everything else.
Multiverse, you get to these other verses that are over here. All of a sudden, you start there's no possible way. It doesn't make sense. Even if every other one was a mirror image of this one, they still would be. Have you ever been into a crazy house?
Yes.
The mirror house part, mirrors all over the place. The image starts to fade. You know what I mean? It all
after it reflects for a while, it gets so far that you can't see it anymore.
Exactly. So even if it was just a mirror image of us, it would still look different. It would be a different universe. And so there would be different people on those planets. It would still be Earth, but it would be a different Earth.
And even when you look in the mirror, you're seeing a reflection, but the reflection has to be different than what you're actually, the source is, because the source is like, it has to be, it's the quality of it is being affected. So even you look at what a mirror is, it has we look at some mirrors on a universal level, you're gonna probably see similarities, but also differences.
Exactly. Precisely. And then if it's the multiverse, then it's mirror dimension times 100,000. So it's gonna be 100,000 of them, and they're all gonna be just a little bit different. But those are what we call decision. When the mirror images break off just a little bit because you decided to go left and the other you decided to go right. So it's a little different, but it's still the same. Bro, that's crazy. Circles, man. It just goes like this. Just keeps going. What's the craziest dream you've ever had that you can remember?
I can't remember anyone. I wouldn't say the crate. Well, when I was little, I almost got eaten by a spider. But like,
what kind
I feel
of
like that.
Wait, tell that story. Tell that story, because I have that same story. Tell that story.
Like, but no, because that's the thing. I skipped over it because it's like the only thing I remember is like it was a big white spider, and it was like after it was like I think very close to when I watched Jungle Book.
Okay.
I don't know if those things are correlated, but
it was a big old jungle. There was the snake. The snake was white, so maybe you just switched the snake for a spider.
I thought the snake was green. I watched the one where the snake was green.
The cartoon one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know. I think I have these continuing dreams where I'm saving people. I'm always saving people. Okay. Where I go and I'll be running through some dangerous situation, and like
He said I'm Rambo in my dreams.
I'm a protagonist. I don't know why. But like, I don't know. I think I've died a couple times while I was in my dreams.
No.
I was saving people, but it as soon as it happened, I would like wake up.
Okay. So you've died in your dreams, but you just wake up when you quote unquote die.
Yes.
Well, speaking of dying in dreams, one time I had this dream. I was living in New York. I had a dream that somebody shot me in like a standoff duel. Like we were in. It was like
you lost
all around. Yeah, like a old Western duel, like a draw. That's what they call it. We were in a draw, and he got me. And like the gunshot was hella loud. It was so dramatic too. It was like watching a movie, but it was like I was watching the movie. It was very weird because I had never had a dream like that where I'm watching myself not that I'm watching myself, but like that I'm watching a video of me or some shit. Like it really looked like a movie, because when I got shot and you see all you see is my face, and it's like, and then like it pans to this random window, and the window is black and white, and it's raining, and you just see the raindrops dripping on it, and then it just goes all white. I woke up so quick, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, it scared me, but I couldn't like talk about it, so I just went back to sleep.
That sounds like a really well shot movie scene.
That's what it felt like.
No pun intended.
That's exactly what it felt like. But to talk about the spider one, it's crazy that you had a spider dream, because I also had a spider dream. And mine was just me and the Proud family were at the bank, and we
the Proud family, like Proud. What? Okay.
Like the cartoons, like the cartoons had came into real life, but they were still two-dimensional.
Okay.
So we go into the like safe, and then the person who took us in the safe turns into a big old spider, and the inside of the safe is like a cave, and she closes the door, and then we have to run away from her, and she just keeps eating people. Well, not eating them, she keeps like turning them into zombies, and then at the end it's just me and La Cienega, and we have to like jump off this cliff with her big ass feet, and with her humongous ass feet, we had to jump off this cliff. We jump off, we get to the bottom, and then we had to like fight the zombies, and we were not winning. So then that was the first time that I like.
They usually have numbers.
Bro, zombies be having numbers for real. That's why I think a zombie apocalypse, that'll be the one that'll just, I really do think the one that'll really just get the whole world, at least America for sure.
If it's something that's airborne, then yeah. But if it's something where you gotta bite people, I think that's very quickly would stop, because people have seen so many zombie movies, and now it's like as soon as
Everybody's just ready. We knew the zombies were coming.
Either people are gonna not take you seriously and walk away, and unless they're running, if somebody runs at me, I'm gonna run away. I'm not gonna wait to see if they're joking. So I think it's gonna take some work for the zombies, and they're decaying. I don't know. It might not be as easy as if it's airborne. We might have a problem.
Zombies, they are too.
And honestly, zombies ain't even that bad.
That run though, if they're like the zombies that run at you, we might have a problem. If they're the zombies that kind of just like, and just look over to you, we just a bunch of shotguns. We're all good. But yeah, it depends on which zombies.
You got diseases that are worse than zombies.
People are wild. Pandemic really showed me that people are not as clean as I thought people were.
What do you mean?
It spread so quickly, so fast, and they told us it was airborne, and all you had to do was wear a mask, and then everybody still was like, nah, wear a mask.
People don't care. Like, people are very, and especially when you tell them to do something, people hate it.
I'm going to say this is the last question, and the question is, knowing now that you are medicated, you are more than, what would you do if you could just do it?
Like anything, like this,
Anything.
I think I would help others to get to that. The first thing I would try to do is I would try to elevate as high as I could while also being able to help somebody else and then help as many people as I possibly can. Because I think it'd probably be a thing that's hard for some people to do. Obviously, I have.
Why do you think it would be so hard for other people?
Because I think it's easy to get caught up in the monotony of life, and that impedes you from being able to really experience anything. So like I think and having the ultimate human experience of being able to manifest whatever, like I think you would get lost in it, or you wouldn't be able to really enjoy it, or you would just fall out of it, enjoy it or experience it.
So I think a lot of people would do that. I think, the older that people get, the more responsibilities that, the people who create all of the paradigms that we follow. When they start putting more responsibilities on you, they start giving you all these things that you need to quote unquote do. You have a quota, you have a time limit, start getting really anxious and really, they invoke these feelings out of you that are feelings of like loneliness and regret and sorrow and just all these, not positive feelings that bring you down, and so they make you feel like you gotta do, have to do. But realistically, the only thing that you came to like do down here is to just exist, and then everything else is just extra. That was good, and I think it makes for good content. So, do for the content. Thanks for listening. If you got all of this far, and hope to see you guys next time.
I carry my wisdom with me like they carry their weapons. I lead a party asking hella questions.